The original concept is that it's a club from another era. Paris in the 20s, Shanghai in the 30s. But over the 11 years that I've been doing it, I've gotten really specific because it's fun. It's fun for me and it's fun for other people too. My goal is for people to be completely transported to a different time and a different place. That vibe, it's about creating an atmosphere. Historical culture is important. So I love doing research about music. I love doing research about costume. I love doing research about cocktails and food. So it all comes together in the night of Shanghai Mermaid. When I first got the idea to do Shanghai Mermaid, I was in a little music club. They played one song that was from the 1920s. And it sent me somewhere else. I was in a club in Paris in the 1920s, and even though people were very dressed up, like in tuxedos and beaded gowns, there was this artistic avant-garde-ness of it. One of the things that I think is important in creating an immersive environment is the people. My guests are definitely a big part of it. They come fabulously dressed. I think that's one of the things that's different about my events. You're not just going to watch something, you're going to interact with the other people who are there.
I had heard about Shanghai Mermaid, and it was a very underground thing. You couldn't look it up. You couldn't find an invite. You had to kind of be invited. You had to be in the know.
I first started going to Shanghai Mermaid just as an event goer, and I loved the whole immersive experience, even just down to the detail of the furniture and the decor. Because everyone has to dress up for Shanghai Mermaid, it makes it a much more collaborative experience.
I don't like to recreate things, but I like to be inspired by things. And even though I like to be as authentic as possible with what I'm presenting, I don't want it to feel contrived. The only thing I feel like I'm trying to revitalize or keep alive is the music.
Sometimes I get to thinking with 1,000 thoughts on my mind.
A friend of mine passed me these two blues songs from the 1920s. They were Victoria Spivey songs. I heard this woman singing, and she sang with such grit and such honesty and such rawness and such truth. Hearing Victoria Spivey sing the blues changed my life.
So the cocktails are always thematic as well. I have done silent film themed parties. So we might have a cocktail from the 1920s called the Blood and Sand.
So this is 3 Knocks You're In. I thought of 3 Knocks You're In because of the speakeasy element of Shanghai Mermaid. The name itself, I feel that it brings you to that time. You couldn't go through the front door. You had to have the secret knock or a secret handshake. I feel that the lime cordial in a cocktail really does bring that transportive experience for people at the event. I love the history of the lime cordial. It became very popular during Prohibition era, and it was given to sailors during their long journey at sea. It was their way of getting their vitamin C, and so they would just throw it in a spirit.
I really try not to glamorize or exoticize different time periods. I'm trying to celebrate culture because I think we're all the same. And I think more and more we have these dividing lines. And I think Shanghai Mermaid is really a celebration of our similarities and not our differences.
When I'm behind the bar, I think one moment that I get for myself is when I just stop what I'm doing and I just look out into the stage and I see people singing, I see people dancing, I just see people having a good time, and so it does feel that I'm back in that time, in that era, and it just completely takes me away.
Singing at Shanghai Mermaid allows me to extend my disbelief too. It's connective in the way that the blues is. It's a shared experience.
I always say I don't think there's enough glamour in the world. And I feel like Shanghai Mermaid is very glamorous. And even though my people, my crowd, are really cool and down to earth, they're very sophisticated, they're very elegant, they're very international. They love music, they love cocktails, they love having an experience that feels really authentic.